Okay, this is an overview of the local UI, which is supposed to be the alternative to webmin and is set to replace webmin coming upcoming release, I think 2.0.0 release. So this is basically, as you can see, this is very similar to webmin in how it connects to it. In this we have connected to the fog node using the management port, which is the E1 Ethernet port, using Ethernet cable to our laptop, and using the management IP, which in this case is 2020-22. So if you go to it, it's going to take you to the login page where you would supply the credentials, which are the local UI credential, not to be confused with the shell admin VM shell credentials, SSH credentials. So in this case, we are using a simple one, which is admin 1123. Click on this, and it's going to take you to the main menu page. And here, in this case, in the MFN case, the landing page is system info, in which you see a bunch of key value pairs describing pretty much the info about the fog node, like the fog OS version, build, etc. And mind you, these things can change based on the profile, based on what your specific needs is. So in this case, this is the default profile, and for example, for KUKA profile, this list could be extended or shortened, or changed accordingly. So second options in the main menu is the network option. Now network is I guess that was the primary reason we were using webmin, so which has been ported over to local UI, through which you can change the network profile, network basically network specific fields for that fog node. So when you click on it, it shows you three options for MFN for KUKA profile. First one is WAN. So here you can change the WAN fields. So right off the bat, you can see it has got two options which are editable. First one is static IP or DHCP. In case of DHCP, we have certain fields which are read only, which cannot be changed, since this is these are DHCP server provided fields, so we can change it. If you want to change it, you have to change it to static IP. In that case, these fields become editable, so you can go ahead and change it. And by the way, these come with some basic validation. In this case, all of these validation are IP validation for these particular fields. So you can do 200, and you can, after making the change, you can apply them, which I'm not going to do, or you can just revert it back. So I'm going to reset the changes. And the second option is proxy server option, in which you can specify the proxy settings of the fog node. You can enable the proxy, then it's going to show two fields, which is address, which is fully qualified address, could be IP address as well, or domain name, and then the port number of the proxy. And the third option is LAN setting, which is quite similar to WAN setting, except that it has only two fields, address and net mask. So again, like WAN, for DHCP, these two fields are read only, and if you go to static IP, you can update those fields. So I'll click on reset, and then going forward in the main menu, the next option is Fog OS, which has currently in this profile we have three uh, sub options in the sub menu. First one is Fog SM configuration, which obviously is the configuration of the Fog SM which is associated with this Fog node. So you can change what Fog node you want to connect. If you want to change, let's say you want to change from NSM KUKA 05 to NSM KUKA 06, that's something that you would change over here. So here the address contains the port specific, the port number as well, port number component as well, but here you're going to specify that, and also you can specify if you want to enable VPN or not. So pretty straightforward. You make the change, then you hit apply, and it's going to change. The next one is time server configuration. So here you can specify time servers, and you can specify up to 4 time servers. Here we already have 4 time servers configured, so it populates with 4 time servers, but you can change or reduce the number of time servers or increase the number of time servers up to maximum 4 time servers. So in this case we have removed it. I can do abc.cde. Not going to persist it, but you get the idea. So I'll revert it back, so it will update it to the original value. And the third one is analytic dashboard, which is basically gives you a window into the local Grafana, which is going to visualize if you're persisting something in the local influx DB, Fog nodes influx DB. So you can visualize that data over here. So moving on, the next one is user setting, which you would want to come to at the initial stage when you have been provided a default user ID and password, and you would want to change it to some other password. So this is the page that you would come to, and here you can specify the current password, which would be the default password, and you can change it to a new password. The only criteria that we apply to the new password is that it should be a minimum of 8 character length. Then moving on to the next option is the debug option, which as the name suggests, it's for debugging a problem if some exceptional condition happens to the Fog node, and a technical support person needs to investigate on why that situation happened or wants to root cause the problem. So somehow if let's say that person cannot get into the Fog node, so this feature would come in handy, where you can the support person over here who is closer to the Fog node can download the logs. If you hit download logs, it's going to basically tarball all the logs in the Fog node, including the networking log and application logs, and it's going to download it to the laptop connected to the Fog node, and that tarball can be emailed to that technical support person, who will sort through the log files and would investigate the issue and would try to resolve it that way. So this is a new feature which would come in handy in case of an exceptional condition. And then the last one is a KUKA profile specific option, which is Windows VM. In KUKA system, we would have a OT VM, which is in this case Windows VM, which would have some settings that would need to be changed. In this case, we have a LAN associated with that Windows VM. So in this case, you can change the settings of that LAN interface, which, and this form is going to be almost similar, in fact completely similar to the LAN interface settings in the network that we just saw. So this also has a DHCP and static. Similarly, based on whether it's static or DHCP, these two fields are read only or updatable. So that's all. And then finally, if you need to log out of the local UI, there are 3 dots over here which will pop out an hidden menu using which you can log out. So that's our, in a nutshell, that's what our fog node is. The local UI for fog node is, which is set to replace the webmin. Thank you.